Hey everyone, it's Leah with Good Deep Sleep, and I am a rapid transformational practitioner. I practice rapid transformational therapy that is a method that's phenomenal and was created by Marissa Peer. Marissa Peer is a renowned hypnotherapist, a writer, a speaker, and now a teacher of this incredible method. RTT stands for Rapid Transformational Therapy, and I'm a RTT practitioner. And so what that means is that I help people to overcome a lot of different obstacles, a lot of different issues, a lot of different situations. So for example, just to take smoking, that's a real easy one. I can help people to stop smoking if that's what they want to do. Weight loss, I can help people lose weight if that's something that they want to do. My niche at the moment is helping women who are anxious and professionals to get a good deep sleep. So professional women who are anxious, who are also struggling with insomnia, they're struggling to get a good sleep, they're exhausted, they're just wiped out, they can't focus, they can't concentrate. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit is what happens when we don't get a good sleep. Sometimes there are individuals who stay up late because they're working a lot, or because they're binge watching a show, or they're addicted in some way to porn or something else, and they're just not able to go to bed at the right time. But they have to wake up at 6, let's say, in order to get ready for work because they have a job. And that's just not working because they're constantly tired and they go to bed late and they're not able to, they don't have the sleep behind them in order to perform the way they want to. Some people go to bed on time, but then they wake up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and then we start worrying and we're anxious and we perseverate about how we're up at 3 and 4 and how we're looking at the clock and we're not falling back asleep, and the things that we try aren't working, and things just go from bad to worse, and you finally maybe fall asleep at 5 only to have to wake up again at 6. So there's that. I had a client who really, really struggled to sleep. She wouldn't fall asleep until 2:30 in the morning. And she would try, for a while she was just watching TV, but that's very stimulating to the brain. So definitely don't be watching TV if you want to fall asleep. And then she, because she fell asleep at 2:30, she really felt, or sometimes it was 4:35 or 6:30 in the morning, then she would sleep until 12, and then everything was totally, totally messed up. If you're someone who drinks coffee, this is not the thing to be doing. If you're struggling with insomnia, definitely cut it out. If you really, really need coffee, I would recommend that you drink coffee as early in the morning as possible. If you have a sensitive system like I do, I need to drink that cup of coffee at maybe 8, 9 o'clock. If I start having even just one cup of coffee, it can definitely set me off because there is a half-life for caffeine, and that's circulating in the body. And did you know that alcohol can be an issue? That's not the one big thing, but it is the thing that you need to know. So alcohol is a problem. And if you want to have a drink, if you want to have a couple drinks, if you want to go out and have some fun, totally do it. Like, go enjoy yourself and have a good time. Just know that the alcohol will help you initially fall asleep, and you feel like, oh, well, this is good. I'm ready for bed. I'm so tired. I'm ready to pass out. But that's not healthy sleep hygiene. That's not what we're looking for. That's not what you want to be doing when it comes to good, healthy, practicing good, healthy sleep hygiene. Right? So just know that if you're going to go have some drinks, have a good time, and know that it's going to be hard for you to get the solid sleep that you need and want. And so I recommend that you, for the most part, take alcohol out. I mean, not to mention the fact that alcohol has a lot of sugar in it, and sugar is not something that most of us should be putting into our bodies. So another thing I want to mention before the one big thing is medication. I've been on medication in the past. It was definitely helpful for me for a period of time. I was going through a really tough time in my life, and I knew that in order to get through that really, really tough time, I needed something that was going to knock me out, and I needed the support of the pharmaceuticals. So, I went for it, and it was very helpful. I felt more or less rested. I mean, certainly I was anxious about this difficult thing that was going on in my life, but I was able to cope. I was able to navigate. I was able to make decisions because I was getting good sleep. I mean, it was medicated sleep, so it's not quite the same thing, but definitely I was getting sleep. As compared to the other individual who was also in this event with me, that person was not getting a good sleep. It was very evident, and it was very much of a struggle for that other person. And then I'm also in favor, if you need some help managing anxiety. Of course, a lot of us have anxiety, and if it impairs work performance, then medication might be the thing for you. But what I wouldn't recommend, and I would suspect a lot of people wouldn't recommend, is taking this medication for a long period of time. Because as we know, these strong drugs have side effects, and over a period of time, that can kind of have deleterious effects on the body, right? The liver metabolizes drugs. The liver kind of filters the drugs that pass through our body, and the kidneys also filter the drugs. And the liver has to work really hard. So let's just take the very obvious example of an alcoholic. When there's lots of alcohol in the body, the liver really needs to work hard to process all that alcohol, all that sugar, right? It throws everything off, and so the liver struggles. And then, after a period of time, cirrhosis develops, right? There's a fattiness to the liver, and it loses its vim and vigor. It's no longer the lean, healthy, functioning organ that it should be. And that's just because it's been abused. So we need to be really careful of our bodies and mindful of our bodies. The thing that's really, really cool about the One Big Thing is that it's natural and it's homegrown. It's right at home. It's right there in your own body. And this one big thing is your mind. And this one big thing is the subconscious. So that's the thing that everybody seems to miss. And I talk to people about what I do. I talk to people about my business, and they say, "Oh, are you going to hypnotize me like when we're having drinks? Or are you going to hypnotize your boss at work?" Or, they make these comments that have no place in the world of hypnotherapy as we know it today, because it's an amazing tool. And so the one big thing is accessing the power of your subconscious to help to change your behaviors. And very, very often, it's the trauma we have gone through as young children, as babies, as toddlers, as young children, that has lodged itself in our cells, in our memories, in our cells, in our bodies, in our tissues. And even though we think that we have come up with some strategies to overcome that trauma, we've developed coping mechanisms like I did to overcome the trauma. We think we've managed, we've had therapy for years even. You've taken the medications to take that anxiety down a few notches. There very often are cases where you haven't quite gotten it all, right? And that's because you haven't gotten to the root cause. So the one big thing is going into the subconscious, which is a well. It's a reservoir. And you dip in there, you go in there, and you look around for the scenes that contribute to how you show up today. You look around in there for the situations that might have caused your current anxiety or your current issue with sleep. So, for example, someone who I worked with went back to a scene under hypnosis. And by the way, you're always in control. There is nothing to be afraid of in hypnosis. You're in control, you're present to the situation, and you're suggestible. So you shift into a suggestible state. Marissa Peer calls it a suggestible state. You shift into that suggestible state where you're willing and open to go back to these scenes that you know at a deep gut level are just going to help you to heal and to get better once and for all, and to eliminate these anxieties, these traumas, these things from your life so you don't get triggered, right? So you go back to these scenes. In this one individual, she went back to a scene where she was lying in bed in her room and she could see the light under the door, right? It was dark. It was nighttime. She's little. And she could see the light under the door that would get dark because her dad would approach the door, right? And the light would disappear because he was standing there. His feet were obscuring the light coming under the door because he was out there, and he would come in and he would abuse her. He would rape her in the night and then leave. So wouldn't you be traumatized at night knowing that your dad was going to come in, and or maybe not, but you never really knew. So you were always on edge. You were always unsure. You could never sleep well. You never really knew when he'd be there, when he wouldn't be there. And then she grew up and she developed some coping mechanisms, but she never really dealt with this early, painful, tragic trauma. So that's the one big thing. I invite you to book a call with me. The information is below. This is the thing that so many of us overlook. And this is where this big well, this reservoir of memories, this is what can help us to heal. And the tools that we use in rapid transformational therapy are so incredible. And Marissa has put together such an amazing method that helps so many people pull out of so many different kinds of situations. If you are a professional woman who's anxious, who is struggling to get a good deep sleep, definitely reach out to me. This is my work at this time. If there's something else that's going on for you, I'd be happy to work with you as well. All right. Thanks for listening.